So, welcome as you're coming on. Come on in. Make yourself comfy. Happy to have you this evening. Beautiful. Okay, so I just want to say a few words about Salima before I hand it over to her and let her get started. And again, I'm seeing a number of people still rolling in, so I want to welcome you and thank you for joining us here this evening. Thank you for coming. You are joining, in case you've forgotten, the teleclass, How to Free Yourself from Worry, in our beautiful world that we live in. It's a very relevant topic with all of the stuff going on in this world. Sometimes it's hard to not get caught in the worry. And our beloved teacher Salima, let's see, if you know Salima, you'll know what I mean. If you don't know Salima, Salima is an amazing human being on so many levels. Salima, the name Salima means peace. So isn't she the perfect one to talk to us about how to free yourself from worry and to live in peace, in the deep peace? She really does have in her nature, in her being, she carries the deep peace in her heart. And she's got one of the most just beautiful, warming smiles. When Salima smiles at you, it's like her heart is smiling at you all the way, coming all the way out through her smile and embracing you. Salima has a way about her of, I keep using the word transmit. She really does. She carries the teachings and the message so deeply in her being that when she speaks to you and when she delivers the teachings, it's like it just emanates from her in a way that is it's powerful and yet calming at the same time. And she's got a beautiful laugh, kind of an infectious laugh, that just makes you, it really helps to open your heart. And so I encourage you this evening, as you listen to this presentation from Salima, to just let your being open. Let your heart, all of your heart space, really relax and just, let the guards down, if you will, and let your heart be relaxed and let your heart receive what it is that she is going to give you this evening. And just, let your heart be open and at rest and at peace as much as possible. Take a few nice, full, gentle breaths and just receive. And at the same time, if questions come up for you during this presentation this evening, make notes. At the end of the call, we will have some time for Q&A, as much as time permits. And, and we'll also have, in case you don't get your question answered, we'll have some information on how to follow up as well, because we don't want to leave anybody high and dry at the end of this if you have questions. So again, write your questions down. We'll open up at the end for Q&A. And Salima, I'll turn it over to you. You ready?
Yes. Thank you very much, Mastura. That was a very beautiful way of introducing me. I'm not quite sure I can live up to all of that, but we will see what.
I am positive that you already do. Yes, thank
and
you.
I just want to welcome everybody, and thank you all for coming, for signing up for this beautiful series that the university is offering. My prayer tonight for all of you is that you receive something of value from tonight's class that you can actually use in your life, that it will be practical for you, that it will also inspire you to learn more about how to create inner peace in your heart, because that's really the secret to being free from worry. And really think about what it might mean for you to attend the university and really study these sacred teachings that bring out the best in you, that bring out your peace, your gifts, your love, your talents in the world. And you may have other intentions for what you'd like to receive tonight, so just take a moment and really feel what your intention is for the class tonight, and let that really settle in your consciousness. I'm going to be talking about worry, what it is, its prevalence in our society today, some research on the brain that shows why we're so programmed for this. I'm going to introduce some quotes about worry that you can reflect on. They're kind of funny in some ways. And then I'm going to talk about what our guide, Sidi Sheikh Mohammed from Jerusalem, has to say about worry and its usefulness in our beings. And then I'm going to give you some keys to remember, to practice, and hopefully to change your worrying into becoming a warrior of peace. And then I'd like to give you some action steps for the things that you can do in your life when that itch of worry may start to appear. And then we'll end with some prayers and some reflections and open it up for questions. Worry right now is more prevalent in our society than ever before. With the constrictions that people are feeling in their lives, with mortgage payments, with children getting involved in drugs or street gangs or things like that, with people worrying about their job and whether their job is going to be secure. It's interesting that we live in a society that has so much in terms of material goods that it actually allows us to focus on worrying in a way that societies that don't have as much don't allow that energy, if you will, or those thought processes to come in. Worry is something that is part of our human condition. So there's no reason to feel ashamed or bad because you worry. The world battles with sadness and worry almost on a daily basis. Some of us are really blessed with riches, and yet even with all those riches, we still can feel some loneliness or some fear or some worry because we're living in a time of confusion. And we try to gather material possessions or things to mend our broken hearts or our shattered souls or ways that we're trying to fill some hole or hurt inside. But all these things are really taking a tremendous toll on our human being, on our human condition. And people are turning and losing their innate connection to God. So the feeling that people are having is, what am I here for? Why is this so? What's going to help and support me? And interestingly enough, recently in one of the journals, they were talking about our brain activity. And our brain activity is actually programmed for bad news, which is really interesting for me to read. There's little diamond-shaped, almost like little almond-shaped organs deep in the brain. And these almond-shaped organs deep in the brain, they have little neurons that preside over our emotional memory. And the interesting thing about this article, it said that 2/3 of our neurons are actually looking for bad news, while only 1/3 of them are looking for good news. So that these negative experiences get stored in our memory immediately, while the positive ones, they need to be held for several seconds before they're actually stored in our brain. And I'm going to talk about the significance of that later on when I give you these keys to help support the positive neurons and help bring those negative neurons kind of into line, if you will. The man who wrote this article, his name is Rich Hansen. He's a PhD, and he said something that I just found very interesting. He said, the brain is like Velcro for negative experiences, but Teflon for positive ones. And this is why worry becomes such an important thing to get a handle on, and to, in Sufism we say, to clean and to purify in your being, so that the inner peace, that your natural state of being can come out. And I speak a little bit from experience here, because if you knew me quite some years ago, I was perhaps on a worry scale at 98.9. I worried about every little thing. I worried if the stove was on, if I left the house. I worried if somebody didn't call me at the right hour. Whatever small circumstance in my life, I would worry about what was going to happen. So the turning point for me was actually in the study of Sufism and really understanding my true nature and really starting to do the work on my heart to bring that out, so that there was actually no space anymore for worry. My executive director at the Farmers Peace said something this morning. He came on last year and was really worried about would he be able to make enough money to keep the farm going and have all the resources that we needed. And this morning he said, I finally got the lesson Salima's been trying to teach. I don't worry about money anymore. I know, and I've seen over the year example and example of how God's providing for us, how God's provision is constantly flowing as long as I do my part. And I'll talk more about what that means, that we do our part when we trust God. I have some quotes that I'd like to share with you about worry. The Dalai Lama says, if a problem is fixable, if a situation is such that you can do something about it, then there's no need to worry. If it's not fixable, then there's no help in worrying. So there's no benefit in worrying whatsoever. Another quote I love about worry says, worry does not empty tomorrow of its sorrow. It empties today of its strength. And later on I'm going to ask you, when you feel yourself worrying, so that I take home, to remember some of these quotes so that you don't lose today's strength. Worrying is carrying tomorrow's load with today's strength, carrying 2 days at once. It's moving into tomorrow ahead of time. In the Vedic tradition that I was in before I found Sufism, they describe 2 symptoms of enlightenment, 2 indicators that transformation is taking place within you towards higher consciousness. The very first symptom is that you stop worrying. I thought that was very interesting. That things don't bother you anymore. that you become lighthearted and full of joy. Isn't that something that we all want? And this is what happens when you can bring your worrying into its proper place. The second symptom is that you encounter more and more meaningful coincidences in your life, more and more synchronicity. And that's when you start to feel that you're actually experiencing the miraculous. And I can share with you many stories of students of ours at the university that have had miraculous experiences in their lives, where their lives have totally turned around from being full of worry and fear and doubt and concern to enjoyment and peace and love. Another quote: the more you pray, the less you'll panic. And the more you worship, the less you worry. You'll feel more patient and less pressures. This is one of my favorites from Ben Franklin. He says, "Do not anticipate trouble or worry about what might never happen. Keep in the sunlight, because whatever is going to happen will happen whether we worry or not." And Mr. Emerson said, "Worry looks around, faith looks up." One of the great Sufi masters said that worry is like an illness because it prevents us from understanding divine wisdom and receiving divine mercy. I'd like to share with you what our guide, Sidi Muhammad al-Jamal, has to say about worry. Most of the time we worry about our provision. And he says, know that provision is decreed and is distributed among people. Some people have experienced expansion, while others may experience contraction. And this is from the wisdom of God. If you are one of those who's experienced contraction, then be patient, content and satisfied with what your Lord decreed for you. If you are one of those who's experiencing expansion, then take only what is enough for you and spend the rest in doing good. He continues, by talking about experiencing joy and moving away from the indulgence of the pleasures of our lower desires. He talks about the need to arrive at a state of contentment so that we struggle with our lower self in order to experience the ecstasy and the divine intimacy of our spirit. He goes on to talk about when there isn't any worry, there's a level of certitude, certainty, and a high level of patience. So he advises us to not be worried about what you've missed before. If you haven't, in our practice, waking up in the night or remembering or fasting during the day. He said the Prophet ﷺ went through many afflictions but he considered it a great blessing because it allowed him to turn towards God. He says that the master of the messengers and Muhammad alayhi salam used to tie a stone around his stomach because of hunger. And 2 months or more would pass without fire for cooking in his house. And he and his family would often eat dates and water. And sometimes he'd have a guest and he would search through his house for something to offer them, but he couldn't find anything. So the lessons from this are to direct your energy in this world, to have something to be satisfied with, to not immediately come into excessive hope, to love the worldly life, but to reflect on what's important, to reflect on what's good for you. He also writes the importance of not, when you're on this path, that it's not important for you to abandon your business or profession or to give all your money away. So what's important is to be conscious of the law, to guard yourself against worry, to follow your heart, and to not waste your time on things that you have no control over. There's another quote that he has that is very beautiful. He says, if you find yourself being worried about other people, he said, then seclusion is better for you. Close your door, leave the location that you're in, and escape from this place where you're looking to other people. Because you want to be concerned with yourself and purifying yourself either from the fear of people or what people might think. And it doesn't allow you, he says, to really know the dignity and the strength that your God can provide for you. He said, be confident in what your God has promised you. God is the one handling your fears, your affairs. And he says that there's not a creature on earth save that the responsibility for its provision is on Allah. And you are among the creatures of the earth. Therefore, busy yourself with what you've been asked to do, and this will grant your provision, because your guardian protector will never forget you, and he's already informed you about your provisions. So seek your provision from God. Be grateful to him. And he reminds you that there's no blame in seeking provision outwardly, that it's important. But one of the signs of a hurting heart is a person's worry about something that has not happened yet, such as worrying about the next day or the next month. Now, how many of us do that? This person says, when this is finished, how will I receive more? Or if I do not receive what I need from what I'm doing now, where will it come from? This is all keeps us away from the true nature of our heart. So the keys that will help you come into a place of inner peace and banish worry from the place that it wants to sit within your mind and your heart are, first of all, the remembrance. If there's anybody in the call that does not know what the remembrance is, if you could raise your hand through the thing, and Miss Dora, if you could let me know, we'll address that. I'm assuming that everybody knows what the remembrance is. The remembrance is the repetition of the name of God in our...
I'm sorry.
That's
Go
okay.
ahead, Salima. I was just going to tell people to raise your hand, press star 2.
Press star 2.
We do have one hand. Yeah, we do have one hand raised already.
Okay. So just briefly.
Okay. Another?
Remembrance is a Sufi practice where we repeat the name of the one love, the name of truth, over and over, so that there is nothing else within our heart but the one. And we'll do a little practice with that in just a few minutes after I go over the keys. So whoever raised your hand will give you a little taste, as we say in Sufism, of what that is. So the remembrance is your key. When you feel yourself slipping into a place that wants to worry, Allah, Allah, Allah. So it's taking it and washing it from your being. It's helping you remember the truth. Remember who's in charge. Remember the divine wisdom and the divine mercy. God wants your good, and God wants your happiness. The second key in dealing with worry is patience and perseverance. This leads you to the heart of everything. It can change your perspective, your way of thinking, where your hearts are turned, and enable you to see abundance. Because worry makes us see constriction. We turn to God in times of lightness and ease, so that God can turn to us in times of heaviness and difficult worry. And in one of the action steps, I'm going to actually give you a quality, and we're going to practice with it a little to help open that in your heart, to help change your perspective, to be able to turn when you need help, and to ask for help. You know, so often when we're in states of worry, we forget to ask for help. So we have remembrance, we have patience, we have gratitude. Remember earlier when I talked about that brain study that they did, and I talked about how the neurons in our brain, the 2/3 of them are actually looking for bad news, looking for things to worry about, while only 1/3 are looking for good news. How we help those positive experiences is through gratitude, is through remembering and taking time to awaken this peace in our heart, this contentment in our heart in whatever we're given, whatever situation we're put into. It's always an opportunity for us. It's always a blessing for us. And we can't see that opportunity or that blessing or that mercy that God puts in everything without the gratitude. That the gratitude is an important key in this. In the holy books it says, "Therefore remember me, God, and I will remember you, and be grateful for the countless favors I put on you." In the remembrance of God, hearts find rest. Because oftentimes we may dislike a thing that's good for us, and we might like a thing that's bad for us. And God knows what we know not. Regarding patience, the holy books say, "I've rewarded them for their patience, and these are the ones that will be successful." To be firm and patient in pain or suffering through periods of worry, such are the people of truth, the people that have consciousness of God. And all the beautiful names that I'm going to teach you in just a moment that help build these qualities of patience and gratitude, and one more. The law says that to call on him by his beautiful name and leave the company of those who don't support you. Remembering of the story of Job when he cried to his God. He said, "Verily distress has seized me, but you are the most merciful of those who show mercy." So we answered his call, and we removed the distress and worry that was on him. We restored his family and all that he has lost. And as a mercy and a reminder for all who worship God. The holy books also say, whoever tries to be patient, then God will help them to be patient. And there's so many blessings that God's bestowed upon us. The air we breathe, the sunshine, the wind, the rain on a parched earth that California in some places needs so much. And I'm sure all of you can remember and contemplate on some of the ways that you're grateful. And gratitude is actually a key to patience. So the more gratitude that you can develop within your being, the more patience that you will have. So contemplating these names of God can bring great relief to our being. They can help us focus on being calm and patient. They can help us deal with the stresses, the problems, the worries heart and break our heart. And if they do break our heart, they help repair the heart. They help return it to a place of beauty and love. So that sadness and worry, because worry really makes you sad, can have no place in our lives. And as fragile human beings, we need this strength. We need to remember to worship God. Another key to overcoming worry has to do with trust. That we want our hearts to be enfolded neither in any sadness or fear or worry. I'm going to work with you with quality, one of the divine names, that help free us from worry, help take away the doubt, which is a kind of subterranean aspect of worry in our life, and grant us, inshallah, God willing, the gift of trust, so we have a deeper faith in God's goodness and God's plan for us. So are you ready to do a little practice with this? We're going to start with the remembrance. And the remembrance, as I said before, is the remembering of your true nature. Remembering the Spirit of God that God breathed into you to make you you. Remembering the light and the love, the peace, the mercy, the freedom that God placed inside your heart so that you could know who you are and live and serve your purpose in life. And this is the whole mission of our university, to help you. So I'm going to give you a little taste of it, and our university curriculum opens this more and more for you. So if you'll just relax, take a deep breath. You can put your hand on your heart if you wish. And just take a deep sigh of ah. One of the nice things about a vibration of sound is that it has certain qualities within the body. And the vibration of the ah sound actually opens the heart to allow you to enter into the beauty of what you carry, what you hold inside your heart. And it helps wash all the other stuff away. So we're going to experience a little bit of that remembrance now. So if you'll all join me, we're just going to repeat the name. If you're uncomfortable with the name Allah, it means the one or the one love, then use another name that represents that for you. And if you feel adventuresome, try and see what Allah does for you. Allah, 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 And now we're going to add something to the Allah. It's Wahhab. Wahhab. Feel the vibration of that. It means the bestower, the one who dispenses mercy, and the giver of gifts. This quality leads you to have more patience and perseverance. It helps, as I said earlier, to change your perspective, your way of thinking. It helps enable you to see more abundance. It helps lift the difficulty and the worries from your heart. So let's practice a little bit with this. It goes, Ya Allah al-Wahhab, 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 Ya Allah And let your heart move towards the truth, bestowing the gift of mercy from the giver of gifts. And next I know I'm going fast and I apologize, but this is just a little taste. You'll have an opportunity, hopefully, to do this more at home. And if those of you decide to take more classes and to attend the university, you'll learn more and more. But the next is to help build the foundation of gratitude in your being, to really awaken the contentment in your heart so that you'll know whatever you're given or whatever situation you're put in, there's an opportunity, there's a blessing, and a chance to feel the mercy that God put in all things. And this name is Mugni. So again, for those of you, just feel the sound and the vibration. The sound and the vibration of Mugni is what you want to experience, because that's what will move your heart into contentment and awaken that within you, that gratitude within you. So we'll do this together again. Ya Allah al-Mugni, 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 Ya Allah al-Mugni. Agni is the enricher, the one that makes us feel rich and contented. Repeating this name helps to relieve any nervous tension that you might have. It's the channel that God's riches flow into the world. And it's one of the most healing names that can change you on a bodily level as well as a spiritual level. So something you can practice at home. The last name, before I get into your action steps, has to do with carrying the quality to free yourself from worry and doubt in any life situation. To give yourself the faith and the trust that you need to turn to God, to have what we in Sufism call tawakkul, reliance, or putting your trust in God. Because God can ease your challenges. So whatever you might be worried about, whether it's losing your job or sustenance or little things in life or big things in life, tawakkul is that attitude shift that allows you to put your trust in God to take care of your affairs. Let's practice with this. The quality is mukmin. Mukmin. So let's try that together. Ya Allah, Ya Mukmin. Ya Allah, Ya Mukmin. Ya Allah, Ya Mukmin. Ya Allah, Ya Mukmin. Ya And let the vibration fill your heart with warm kindness and your eyes with beauty. And let your heart be enfolded with security and safety. Because M.Ed is the one who grants safety, the one who makes you secure. It's a protecting quality. Protects you from worry. So that's my short tasting for you this evening. And I'd like to go over some action steps that will be helpful to help build this inner peace in your heart so that worry has no place. The first is to take time for remembrance. To take time to meditate, to do the remembrance as I just showed you. To practice it each day. To use these Wahab and Mugni and M.Ed to build the patience and the gratitude and the trust within your own being. Now some of you are going to tell me, what if I do this and it doesn't work? So I'm going to give you some other practical things that you can do that hopefully will be helpful for you. The second is, don't expect perfection. Too often we worry about, am I doing it right? Am I getting it okay? Can I do more? If you don't put the expectation of perfection on yourself, and you know that God is the only one who's perfect, it will free you from unnecessary, what I call unnecessary worry about, am I doing it right? Am I getting it? All those self-doubt voices that lead us down a path of worry instead of a path of peace. So watch yourself. Are you expecting perfection? Don't expect perfection. Your next action step is to get real. We're human beings. We make mistakes. It's okay. Unfortunately, we weren't taught that in school. So we wind up feeling bad about our mistake. Instead of recognizing we're human beings. We make mistakes, all of us. I've taught many, many classes, and in every class I always ask, has anybody here ever not made a mistake? No one raises their hand. We're human beings. We were built to make mistakes. It's how we learn. We have other practices that I'm sure you'll learn in the other teleclasses coming up that will help you with these times when we make a mistake. Don't be hard on yourself. Return. The next action, stay present. Remember those quotes I said earlier this evening. Worry never robs tomorrow of its sorrow. It only saps today of its joy. remember today is your joy. Stay present with your moment. The next action step I have for you, to visualize peaceful, happy moments. When you start to worry, close your eyes. You can visualize a peaceful place, a happy moment in your life, holding a baby, snuggling up to somebody that you love. It will start to melt the worry. The next action step, talk about it. Get support. The university has a free healing clinic. Use it. There are wonderful healers. The next action step, care for yourself. Please, make sure you're getting enough sleep, enough food, you're getting exercise, taking a walk, taking a bath. Sometimes worry affects us so much that we spin in it, and it doesn't allow us to eat or sleep or just enjoy ourselves. So you have to remember to care for yourself. I have a little hint for anybody who can't go to sleep because you're worrying. Instead of trying to go to sleep, try to stay awake. I guarantee you'll fall asleep. It's harder to try to stay awake. And you can do some of these practices, but you won't be able to. Just the idea of trying to stay awake will start making you sleepy. The other action step I have for you is to be good to yourself. Do something special just for you. Whatever it is that makes you happy. It might be a massage, it might be going to a concert, it might be reading a spiritual book. But make sure each day you do something special just for you. And last, reflect on one of the quotes that I said earlier, so that you keep your eyes on the present. Be present with the presence of God. Don't focus on your lower nature and the world and all its false promises. Bigger house, more money, all of those things. They won't give you inner peace. Focus your intention on God. Be a warrior of love and peace. Enjoy happiness. My prayer is that you come out of the darkness of worry into the light of love. That you clean and purify your hearts so that you live in the beauty of your true self. In the Holy Quran, God says, with every hardship comes ease. And He will lead them from the darkness into the light. This is my prayer for you. I hope for all of you that you do not leave yourself, that God is with you always, The Prophet Muhammad, alayhi salam, may peace and blessings be upon him, had a beautiful prayer that I would like to share with you to end the teaching, and then we'll open it up for questions. O Allah, O God, put light, nur, in my heart, and light in my body, light in front of me, and light behind me, light to my right, light to my left, light over me, and light beneath me, light in my hearing, and light in my sight, light in my hair, and light in my skin, light in my flesh, and light in my blood, light in my bones. O God, increase the light in me, give me light. O God, transform me into light, because it's in this light, footnote for me, that we find peace. It's that simple. I hope and pray that I've given you something of value tonight that you will use in your life, that you will enter into this sacred journey home to the university to learn how to carry this message of peace and love and mercy, justice and freedom in the world, to remember that you are holy, that the world needs what you carry. So transform your worry, uncover, be the peace, and join us in making a difference. Thank you very much for listening, and Mastura, we can open it up for questions and let people know how to get in touch with our representatives from the university if they have more questions about the university.
Thank you, Salima. Thank you so much for that. I feel so peaceful, and my cat has been quite at peace in my lap listening to this as well. She's the true barometer there. Let's see. Let me go ahead and say, if you, first off, for the replay, we're going to end the recording now, and so you can feel free to ask whatever question you want. They will not be on the recording, so we will respect your privacy there. The other people who are on the call now will hear, and I find that some of the best discussions and best teachings come from actually from the questions. So please ask your question. Hi, thank you for listening to the replay today. We choose not to publish the Q&A because we are committed to creating safe space for people to ask their questions, and so we let those be off the record, so to speak. But we do want to give you an opportunity to get your questions answered. If you have questions that coming out of this teleclass about the class that you've just listened to, or any previous classes, or any of the teachings of the university, or even a personal question about what your next steps might be, or or just anything that might be going on in your life that you'd like support with. So I want to share with you the phone numbers and email addresses of a couple of people who are available to take your calls or chat with you, or whatever it is that you need. So the first one is Robert Shea. Robert Shea. His phone number is 717-552-1925. It's Robert Shea, 717-552-1925. His email address is enrollment@sufiuniversity.org. That's ENROLLMENT at Sufi University, that's S as in Sam, U, F as in Frank, I, university.org. the second one, and let me just say Robert, a male on the East Coast. We have also a female on the West Coast, Donna Cruz. Donna Cruz. Her number is 512-775-7126. That's 512-775-7126. Her email is donnajamilacf@gmail.com. And I'm going to spell that for you. Donna, D-O-N-N-A, Jamila, J-A, M as in Mary, I-L-A, C as in cat, F as in Frank, at gmail.com. So that you can give Robert or Donna a call or an email, connect with them. They love to take calls from people to, they're just a wealth of information, and also of just holding and containment and love. They've really walked deeply with these teachings, and they've been involved with the university for a long time, and they would love to hear from you, as would all of us. So again, thank you for listening. Be sure to connect with with us to get your questions and concerns taken care of, and like Donna or Robert, if they can't answer directly, they'll help you find the person who can. And I hope to meet you and hear from you. Again, thank you so much for listening. Have a great night.